Quick shout out to my boy Uwe Rosenberg. You made it into the top 10, my friend, more than once. Welcome back to 9 to 5 Gamers, y'all, and today is Top 10 Tuesday, and we are finishing up our Top 100, and this is the Top 10 Creme de la Creme Piece de Resistance. This is the best of the best from this past year that I have played, and so a lot of games have shifted. You've already kind of seen the upset last week. If you didn't see that, go check out that video. That 2 of my top 10 games of all time have slipped and fallen from grace into the top 20, which is like. But with that said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Most of the people who watch these videos are not subscribed. Just subscribe. What's it gonna hurt? You're just gonna get some notifications. If I annoy you, why are you watching my videos? And if I don't annoy you, turn on the notifications so that I can give you more of these amazing creme de la creme videos, because I am the self-professed king of the top 10. I do the most top 10s and the best top 10s of every board game content creator on the internet. That might actually be a factual statement. Might, but who knows? I gotta go back and count. But anyways, with that said, just want to go ahead and say, hey, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 20K. That's my goal. And if you want to support the channel further, don't forget to like this video, because liking helps with the algorithm. That's an actual thing that helps. But if you want to support the channel, we have memberships here on Patreon, here on YouTube, and also on Ko-Fi. You can be a member on any of those platforms. YouTube is the easiest one. You can just click on it right now, right there in the join button. And if you don't see the join button, do it on a computer. It makes it a little easier. I know I'm asking for a lot, but hey, if you're going to financially support the channel, you're going to go all in for it, baby. And then, or you can just go to my Patreon or my Ko-Fi, and you can go ahead and donate money there. Ko-Fi gives me the best percentage, so if you want to do it to Ko-Fi, that'll be awesome. Would love that. But I give out cool content for those people, and sooner rather than later, hopefully, once we get enough members on the channel, I'll be giving away monthly board games to everybody, which is awesome, because they're at the like $1 level. You're given $1 a month for $12 a year, and you might win a free board game. Like, if you win a $60 board game and you paid me $12 for the whole year, you won. Like, you won at life. So just become a member, because that's going to be awesome, and I'm really looking forward to maybe, I think this year we can actually hit enough members to make that a reality. I would love to have as many members as we can, because the more money we have coming in, I could take that money and give it right back to you guys in the form of board games. And so subscribe. I don't know how it's all going to work out, but eventually we will. So check that out, and without further ado, let's get into this top 10. Number 10, The Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth. I finally finished this game. This is the first like campaign game that I've played all the way through. I think the second is going to be what's it called? Artisans of Splendid Vale. I'm almost done with that game too, I think. Possibly. Not sure. But I think I might get through that one before I get through Gloomhaven or all these other ones. These things are long. But this is the first campaign game that me and my wife actually sat down and finished. I love the game mechanics of the game. It is Lord of the Rings themed, which I absolutely love. I love Lord of the Rings, always have, always will be a fan of it. And just a game where you can play as your favorite characters from the Lord of the Rings franchise, and you're going around, and you can play as Gandalf, you can play as, if you have the expansion, you can play as Frodo, you can play as, what else I got? Why am I blanking? Anyway, but you can play as a lot of people. And it's really cool because Legolas and all these other Aragorn, all these guys, Gimli, see, now I'm remembering. Like, my mind literally just had like brain fart. But as you're playing as these characters, the way that it works is that it's just kind of like a simple check system where it's like, oh, look, test your wit. What's my wit? My wit is 3. Okay, so I pulled 3 cards off the top of my deck. If I get any of the little hit icons, then I pass the test. If I get a bunch of misses, then I don't pass the test. And then you're just doing that. There's a fighting mechanic. There's an app that runs the game, and so you can click on the individual characters you're like attacking and take out their health and stuff. It's really cool. Really good sound effects, really well narration and stuff like that. Cool sound effects. I love this game, and it's got a ton of expansion content, which I'm going to eventually get to. But I definitely finished the base game. Fantastic. I loved it. Really cool game. That is my number 10. My number 9 is Gloomhaven. Big Boy Gloomhaven or Jaws of the Lion, Frosthaven. We'll lump them all in here. I don't have Frosthaven, but I'm assuming it's better than Gloomhaven. I don't know. I haven't really played fully Gloomhaven, but I haven't played this game all the way through. But I love Gloomhaven more than I love Journeys of Middle-earth. Journeys of Middle-earth's a little easier to play. Gloomhaven's a little more like you got to kind of know what you're doing. I feel like in Journeys of Middle-earth you can kind of scrap by, and there's like an easy mode, so it's cool. But I love Gloomhaven. I love the characters. I love the different powers. I love the system for hand management where you have cards that have abilities on the top and the bottom, and you have to play a top and a bottom ability. It's like I'm playing this as the bottom, I'm playing this one as the top ability. It's just really, really good. And so I've had a ton of fun playing this game, and I can't wait to actually finish the campaign of it. I don't want to give out too many details or anything like that, but there's so many cool things that happen throughout the campaign, so many cool villains to fight, cool effects and different things like that. It's the best dungeon crawler there is. I love Gloomhaven. It'll always be one of my favorites, and so that's why it's my number 9. My number 8 is the Castles of Burgundy. Woo! Talk about shooting up the list. This game wasn't even on my radar. I own this game since like 2 Dice Towers ago. I bought it, never played it. Decided one day, my friend David came over, and I was like, let's play Castles of Burgundy. Let's just get this over with. I learned how to play it the night before. He came over the next day. We played it in the morning, and at the end of it, I was like, oh my gosh, this might be one of the most brilliant games I've ever played. Like, for an older game, and for a very ugly game, by the way, because I have the original version of it, and it is not pretty. I'll tell you that right off the bat. But good news is, by now, when this video releases, because I'm recording this ahead of time, I should already have the Castles of Burgundy big box edition from Alea Games. Alea? Yeah. And so they produced an amazing version of this game, and I'm so excited to get that one to the table because that's the only thing about this game is that it was but ugly. But now that I've got this, I'm like, this is a 10 out of 10. I love Castles of Burgundy. You're just building out, as in like a duchy, and you've got this little map, and you're just trying to place little tiles on your map, but you have to use dice to pick those tiles off of the board, and then you place them into a little depot, and then there's all of your spaces that you could put it on your map have a dice with a number on it, so you have to use that numbered dice to place it onto your board, and then when you do, you get an effect. So it's really, really interesting, man, and it's so cool to see how close these games are when I play with my friends. I played with a group of friends that I thought was going to absolutely hate it, and everybody was like, this was a really good game. I want to play this again. And I showed them the big box version that I was getting, and they were like, I love Castles of Burgundy. I will not be surprised, just being honest, because I haven't played it like a million times yet. I've played it maybe 3 or 4 times now at this point. I will not be surprised if this game makes it to my top, number one spot. Like, this may be my favorite game of all time, but I need to play it more. But for right now, it's at number 8, and that's insane because Castles of Burgundy is really good. And pretty soon it might pass up my number 7, which is Blood Rage. I love Blood Rage, though. Blood Rage is so good. It is my favorite of, Eric Lang's games that he produced because it's like Blood Rage and what's that one called? Rising Sun. Rising Sun is the other one that he made. I haven't actually played that one. I've seen what it's like, and I've seen people say, hey, in order to play this one, you should have 5 people. It's got negotiation in it, and certain player counts, it doesn't play well, so you need to play at a higher player counts. Still played that one. I played on, but I love Blood Rage even more. Blood Rage is so good, man. It's a drafting game where you have a hand of cards. You look through your hand, you go, I'm picking this one, you pass them. And then you keep drafting until you get all of the cards. And then once you do, you play those cards throughout the game, and it's area control. Those cards allow you to do different actions. You play them onto your player board, which will upgrade your ships, your troops, different things like that. Some of them are monsters, and then you get that monster, put one of your little snap on one of your little dials. It's a CMON game. It's very beautiful and well produced. But you're just trying to take over the map, which has Yggdrasil in the middle because it's a Viking game, and the Ragnarok is happening. So each area is getting destroyed one area at a time, and so the map just becomes smaller and smaller, and it kind of condenses you guys to really fight each other. There's really cool strategies where you can just die, and then you get points based off of how many people you take out of Valhalla. It's super, super cool, or how many people go into Valhalla. There's so many different strategies and so many different monsters that have different effects and different abilities. Some of the monsters have the same effect and ability, just amplified to a higher degree. But it's really cool because it's just area control, not worker placement, it's area control where you're putting dudes on a map and controlling certain different areas, getting the resources from them, going up on the tracks on your board, which dictate how many troops you can put out on the board at a time. They also dictate your combat power and potential and a whole bunch of other stuff. It's super fun. I love Blood Rage. Will forever love this game. That's why it's my number 7. My number 6 is Le Havre because it's always been in my top 10, and I don't think it'll ever leave my top 10 because it's just such a good game. So if you've ever played River of Gold, you will like Le Havre. Le Havre is just an Uwe Rosenberg version of River of Gold, which is a weird thing to say because this game came out before River of Gold. I feel like River of Gold is kind of like Le Havre. But man, Le Havre is just so good, man. It's just like there's this harbor, and then your little ship is moving down the harbor. You're gaining resources. You're using those resources to buy new shops and build shops into your tableau. And then when you do, you can use you have like a single worker that you can place on different shops to gain abilities. But if you take the shop and buy it yourself, it's worth coin at the end of the game. But not only that, players can put their worker on your shop, and then you gain money from them. They have to pay you to use your shops, which is pretty cool because it's like everybody can use it when it's out here, but when I have it, you have to pay me to use it. And there's a lot of different strategies, so many interesting ways that you can go about this game. I love playing it, and I just love seeing the different strategies that my friends come up with when we play this game. I'm going to go this route and try to. A friend of mine, when he played, he was just a money-producing machine. I don't know what it was that he did, but he was making all this money, and I was like, man, this guy's going to win. But it's a really, really fun game. I love playing it at all types of player counts, and I got to get the deluxe bits for this game. But it's really, really good. I love Le Havre, just a harbor game where have your own little harbor and you're trying to build shops on this harbor to gain resources and get money, and then whoever has the most wins. So that's a beautiful game. Love Le Havre. Number 5, Ark Nova. Ark Nova, I think it had its place in like my number 1, but it's slowly declined because nobody just wants to play this game with me. Like it's actually like borderline depression at this point when it comes to this game because I can't convince people to play this. I know people who they're like, I really like the game. It's just going to take a long time. And I'm like, I don't get to play games like this often. This is the type of game that I'll probably pull out like maybe once a year and will always have a great time playing it. And for me, it's like I don't know if this one is a 10 out of 10 for me, but it definitely was a good game. I really enjoy Ark Nova. I love playing it. You're building a little zoo, and then you've got, polyomino pieces and habitats that you're putting onto your board, but you're taking cards and getting cards, and these cards have different abilities, and you're playing them, and you're trying to go up on these little tracks that exist, and there's 2 tracks. I love that mechanic that they got from like Rashas of the Ganges, which you're trying to bring up your conservation, where it's like, well, first you're trying to bring up your popularity, your zoo's popularity, so it's like people love coming to your zoo, and then on the other track, it's like I got to release some of our animals for conservation purposes. And so it's like I'm trying to do conservation efforts, but I'm also trying to make my zoo popular. And then at a certain point, you go up on these 2 tracks, and when the 2 tracks meet, that's when the game trigger ends. And whoever has the most points wins. And it's really, really good. I love playing this game, and I just wish I could play it more. I think that's the reason why it's a little bit, but not too much, because it's still fantastic. But all I know is that the next game on my list literally was just like they just pushed everyone out of the way to get up to the number 4 spot on my list, and that's Feast for Odin. Let me tell y'all, Le Havre has been my favorite Uwe Rosenberg game. I really like Agricola. I really like Caverna. I haven't played a Tiwa. I think there's another one, the Oren Redenbacher, the popcorn guy. I don't remember what it was, but it's like the Orenburg Canal or something like that. It's like this yellow game, but I haven't played any of those 2 games. But I have played all of Uwe Rosenberg's games up until this point, including Bonanza, but we're not going to talk about that. That already made the list. But when I thought Le Havre couldn't be dethroned, and I was like, Feast for Odin terrified me, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to finally learn how to play this, and I finally did, and I played it with my wife, and to my surprise, it was not as hard to play as I thought it was going to be. I was like, oh my gosh, this game is phenomenal. Like, this game is, and I'm glazing, like, so hard right now. Like, I am glazing the heck out of this game. I'm telling you that right now. But I love Feast for Odin, man. Like, there are so many I told you so's in the comments section that are owed right now. People who have been telling me to play Feast for Odin for a long time. And now that I finally played it, I'm like, yo, I get it. I get it. And I completely suck at the game. Let me tell you that right off the bat. Okay? I am not good at this game because I'm still trying to even just get a good high score. But I love the different ways that you can go about that. Like, I love the different jobs that you can get. I love it's like 64 worker placement spots, but understanding them is really not even complicated. Like, because you can hear that and be like, what? Like, there's no way I'll play that. 64 worker placement spots. But it's like, no. Like, literally, they're all organized in, like, these, you only need 1 worker to do them. These, you need 2. These, you need 3. These, you need 4. Right? So it just adds, like, more workers, the more complicated the action is. And then the actions are usually just the same. It's like, are you going hunting? Cool. You're going to hunt little foxes, or are you going to hunt whales? Like, that's it. And then you get different resources for that. But the whole point of this game is that you're trying to take these polyomino pieces. Is this my favorite polyomino game? Oh my gosh. This is my favorite polyomino game. But anyways, it's kind of like the main mechanic of the game. You're putting poly pieces that you earn onto your board. And when you put them onto your board, they take up like space on your board, and there's a whole bunch of like negative points, and your goal is to just fill this up to get rid of all the negative points. Kind of reminds me of like Isle of Cats in that way. But you're filling up this board, you can get a whole second board of an island and fill that board up too, which I don't understand how anybody can do that. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand how any person could ever get that far in this game to fill up 2 entire tile boards, including like sheds and stuff like that. But you're just placing polyominoes on these different like islands, and you gain a bunch of points from them when you fill them all up. And the more stuff you build, the more stuff you produce, the more points you're going to get at the end of the game. It's just a really great worker placement. I love this game, and man, I can't talk enough about it. But that is Feast for Odin, my number 4. Number 3, Kemet Blood and Sand. Solid game. These next 2 are going to be very easy and very simple. Kemet Blood and Sand is just fantastic. It is my favorite area control game of all time, and I love the ability to purchase these little tiles that kind of improve like how much of an action you can do, how far you can move, how your combat power. But they also give you different like abilities and stuff like that, which is really cool. It's very simple, easy to learn how to play. And once you kind of get the gist of it, it's like, oh, okay, I know what I can do. But then that's where the strategy lights up. It's like, okay, well, how am I going to do this? It feels very chess-like, moving pieces across the board, moving your troops into different areas, taking over different obelisks, things like that, or placing obelisks, taking over and making these, constructing these pyramids and things like that. Really great game, man. I love this. And you can buy like these different like gods and like these giant scorpions and these creatures that you can put on the board and use them as troops that you can go out and do different things with them. This game is phenomenal. I love Kemet. The new big box came out for it that comes with like all the expansions and stuff like that, and you can actually put everything into a huge box of Kemet. I love that. Can't wait for that to come in. I ordered it, but I love Kemet. Best area control game, hands down. Not even going to debate with anybody on that. I'm sure there's more that I need to play, but Kemet is great. Like, you need to play Kemet. Kemet is fantastic. It's also my favorite of the Matagot trilogy, even though I'm still haven't played one. Same thing with the Blood Rage one. It's like there's one I haven't played, so I need to, but I don't think it's going to overtake it. Number 2, Dune Imperium. Hands down, an amazing area control, worker placement, deck building game. It's fantastic. The area control part is just more so like a battle where you're putting troops into a battle. Whoever has the most kind of wins. But you can play these intrigue cards to do that. But it is the best of the worker placement area control games that I've played. And I know this because they have just made so many expansions that have further improved the game, that have further added more mechanics that make it just more playable. They have the Dune Uprising new edition, which is, if you're going to buy Dune, some people are asking, do I get Dune or Dune Uprising? If I already have Dune, do I need Dune Uprising? The answer is no. Dune Uprising is literally the same thing as the base game of the same thing as the base version of the game, but they just added like a couple of little mechanics in there. But I don't think it's worth buying a whole new game just to replace it, and it's compatible with all of the other ones. If it's your first Dune game, just buy Dune Uprising. Don't buy regular Dune. If regular Dune is cheaper, go for it, but buy Dune Uprising because it has a little extra mechanics in there that make the game a little bit better to play, with the sandworms and different stuff like that. But with all the expansions, man, this game is great. They're coming out with more expansions. I think it's called Blood Moon or whatever it is that's coming out, and it's just amazing. I love the deck building aspect, where the cards you put into your deck will determine where you can place your workers. So it's like, I can't just place my workers anywhere. I have to play a card to do that, and that card has to have the symbol of the space I'm moving to. So you have to build your deck correctly with the right amount of space cards, and then you're going up on different tracks to win the favor of different factions. And the whole point is you're trying to get to 10 points, but man, it is a tight race, and it is very, very good. But that is only my number 2. My number 1, I kind of even feel bad about it. Like, I feel like I should get roasted for this, to be honest. So if you want to roast me in the comment section, go ahead, I can take it. But I'm going to tell you right now, there is no game that I have played more and have had more fun playing and am interested to play, because that's what this top 10 is. It's the games that I love. Doesn't matter what you like. I don't care about what you like. Just kidding, I do. Put it in the comment section. But my number 1 is Moonrakers. I'm like, how did an Ivy Studios game, no slight to them, because I think Ivy Studios games are great, I just never thought that one of their games would make my like top 10 of all time. I always thought they were really good, but I'm like, bro, Castles of Burgundy, Feast for Odin, these games cannot be topped. And honestly, hearing it come out of my mouth sounds like blasphemy. I love Moonrakers, y'all. Like, I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I love negotiation. I love backstabbing people. It sounds bad, but I really just enjoy it in board games. But I love making deals and fighting with people, and just, I love the camaraderie that this game brings at the table where you're working together. Everybody's trying to pay attention because they're trying to get in on the fun. With the right people, this game is great. This is a deck builder, but there's like contract fulfillment. So it's like the cards in your hand have symbols and you have to play those cards out. But it's a lot like Dominion, where you only can play one card from your hand, but then it's like when you play a certain card, it'll say +2 actions. So it's like, that was my one action. Now I get 2 more actions. So you can do that in this game where you can play multiple cards. But the goal is to play all the cards that are listed on the contract, all the symbols that are on the contract. You have to play them from your hand. And you have to find creative ways to deck build so that you can do this on your own. But at the very beginning of the game, you can't. So what you have to do is you have to work with people and you have to say, hey, look, I got a thruster and I got a shield. Can somebody play some damage cards? I can play a damage card. I can play a damage card. Okay, cool. So then you have one, I have this, I have this. So it seems like we have all the cards we need to play, but the rewards are a victory point and like 6 credits. So I'll take the victory point because I'm putting in more work and it's my contract, so I deserve the victory point. I'll give each of you 3 coins. Or I'll give each of you 2 coins, and then I'll take a victory point and 2 coins. And then they'll be like, no, you give each of us 3 coins, and then we'll take it. And it's like, fine, we'll do that. And then you play it out. Everybody plays their cards, and if you fulfill the contract, you get all the rewards, and then you have to divvy them up the way that you agreed to it. But you can fight with each other about it. Like, I don't think that you do deserve the point. I don't want to make you closer to winning, right? Like, I'll help you, but I kind of want more out of it, right? This one has 4 victory points on it. I want 2 of them. Oh, I want 1. Well, I want 1. Saying, okay, well, you got to make this work. This game is great, man. That's the part of the game I love, is just divvying up the points and figuring out how can we make this work, how can we defeat these really big contracts, and then all the while you're collecting coin, and that coin you can use to buy upgrades for your ship, and those upgrades are like, hey, every time you are playing an event, you don't have to play one defense card, right? So if there's already this contract says I need to play a defense, it's like, hey, look, I have that covered with my ability, so I don't even need to play cards anymore to do that. So it's really cool. You upgrade your ship, whoever gets the 10 points first wins, but man, it's so much fun. Sometimes you go down in points because you're taking damage. Every time you take a damage, you go down a victory point. So you got to really be careful with the damage dice and who's taking them and stuff. Man, Moonrakers is fantastic. Ivy Studios, just bravo, because y'all killed it. Literally killed it. I love this game. I don't care what anybody says. This is my favorite game of all time, at least for 2024. There's no game on this list that I have played more, except for River of Gold, but that I've just had a blast playing, and everybody that I've played it with has had a blast playing it, except for maybe one person, but they were upset because I backstabbed them, and then they were like, I don't want to play this anymore. So, but apart from that, I've had nothing but great times playing this game. I love this game. This game is fantastic, and I am looking forward to playing it again. And it has expansions, and the expansions just make it better, which is awesome. So, anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. This is the end of my top 100, man, and the number 1 was kind of shocking, but all the rest of them, should have expected them. They're really great games. But, comment section, what are your favorite games you played in the 2024? And, man, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I know we're watching this towards the end of the year, so hopefully you've had a good Christmas if it already came. If it hasn't come already, Happy New Year. God bless you guys. I love you guys so much, and I'm excited to hang out, play with you guys. If you're in the Orlando area, you live in like Central Florida, I host board games like every single month, board game events, and they are free. You don't have to pay anything to come to these events. Come hang out with me and play some games with me. If you want more information, just email me. But I'm looking for support, man. So if you guys can support the channel, I do all my events for free. I try to do that because I really want all the money to come from my subscriber base. So if you're a member, become a member. If you haven't become a member, you can do it for as low as like $12 a year. It's $1 a month, and it really helps out the channel a lot. And if you're feeling generous, you can do like $2 a month, $3 a month, $5 a month, whatever you can afford. Would love to have more members to get more board games out there. That's my goal, is to just put board games on the map and to make them famous. But thank you guys for tuning in. That is the end of our 2024 board game top 10s. And now we're looking forward to 2025. See you guys later. Peace out.